If you're a brand asking yourself, hey, how am I ever going to get into large retailers, and you're doing a fantastic job, then this video is for you, because we're going to walk through Faire Plus, all of the operational complexities it adds or doesn't, the requirements that you need to make sure that you nail first off, straight off the bat, and more in this video today. We're going to walk through the massive benefits that you could get as a brand selling to these larger retailers. We're going to share with you the operational shifts and things that you need to be ready for. I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like to sign up every single step in a real Faire account. And by the end of this video, you will know if the big leagues are ready for you or not. So what is Faire Plus? Really simply put, it is a program designed to enable you to get into what Faire is calling larger retailers. We're no longer talking about your favorite local retailers. We're talking about independents that might have multiple doors, regional chains, national chains, and even those larger kind of hospitality groups, hotels, etc. These are much larger than what Faire has typically been selling to so far. You might be thinking, oh, but Faire's not that for me. Well, the good news is that these are high volume, high reorder buyers that are, once they've made a relationship with you, they're going to keep transacting. So Faire so far has really been a transaction platform, but is increasingly becoming a relationship platform. So everything that you can do to get reorders is going to continue to grow both Faire Plus, but also your existing business. And I'll walk you through everything you need to know in these next couple of slides. So what does it mean for you? Well, this is really just the holy grail of sales opportunities for you. These super large retailers will do absolutely massive volumes. Some of these businesses are doing hundreds of billions of dollars a year in revenue, and everything that you can do to be a small part of that will change your business trajectory overnight. But on the flip side, that means there is absolutely zero margin for error. These buyers simply do not have the time for back and forth, working out different shipping requirements, missed packing slips, etc. So you need to make sure that you are on the money when it comes to Faire Plus. And that is exactly why Faire Plus program exists. So they're trying to make sure that they have standardized insurance requirements, terms, workflows, and everything that kind of makes it as easy as possible for a buyer to buy through Faire and work with your business. This traditionally has been incredibly hard, is varied by every single retailer around the world with small nuances. I've heard horror stories of brands being fined tens of thousands of dollars arbitrarily by retailers because they haven't, for example, put the right label on a particular box. Whether or not that's a good thing, it might just be revenue raising for that retailer, but I think this is a good step in the right direction for a standardized workflow. So if you're like me, you're probably thinking, well, why does Faire Plus even exist? So, why couldn't Target just come to us as a business that we're selling our socks on an ongoing basis? I think there we go. Look at those lines, beautiful socks. Why couldn't Target just come to me and buy my beautiful socks? Well, the reason why is because they are going to come to us and we're going to have a whole bunch of standardized requirements as Target that, large retailers don't love working with independent brands because they don't know if you are going to be able to, hit those standardized workflows, hit those shipping requirements, etc. And so if you can show via Faire, you can get kind of an independent tick of approval that you can do this, Target and others are much more likely to be working with you. Now, I'm not even going to get into it, but super large retailers have really kind of standardized requirements. They will have vendor terms, specific product data that they need, and PS, if you don't yet have barcodes, make sure you get them. That is a huge requirement of Faire Plus, not to mention liability insurance. Historically, managing these individual contracts on a customized basis was incredibly costly, but the brands would happily sign up for that because you'd be getting these larger retailers. Well, imagine if you can do that, but take out the stress both for the retailer and for the brand. And so that's why Faire Plus exists. So it's bringing all these standardized requirements that enterprises are having, trying to get it into the one place, and then making sure that they're choosing to put the brands that can fulfill for these retailers in that bucket and make it available for the buyers that are these super large buyers. So it's going to be an absolute massive opportunity. There is that kind of bottleneck from changing from small orders to large orders, all of the kind of normal things like you hear around EDIs, etc. But Faire is going to make that so much easier. So what are the core benefits of joining Faire Plus? And this might be a little bit how to suck eggs, but it's always worth talking about it. Firstly, Faire is going to connect you with buyers that are placing incredibly large orders on a consistent basis and could change your business overnight, or maybe in a couple weeks once you see that second reorder hit. These aren't small accounts as well. These are proper needle moving accounts. Second, if you are already doing business with these large retailers, it's going to help you streamline your operations because there are going to be standardized compliance, standardized invoicing, and you know you're going to get paid by Faire, which is backed by JP Morgan for their payment. So you're going to be okay from that perspective as well. No need to worry about getting paid 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever that is you've agreed with Faire. Faire will be working that out rather than you going to a retailer, which sometimes large retailers really do drag their feet when they're making payments. And third, and this is kind of a derivative, is the less admin that you need to do enables you to focus more time on building your business. There was a great little quote that I saw from the co-founder of June, Alex Bennett, who noted on Faire Plus that this is an opportunity to give brands the absolute fantastic place to work directly with much larger retailers much earlier than traditional paths typically allow. And I think that's just Faire through and through. An opportunity to get in front of these big businesses by proving yourself to small businesses to begin with, and Faire Plus is going to make that just even that little bit more simple. For example, on Bearkind, we are over 200 plus reviews, which on a UK-based business in Faire is an absolute, it's huge. I would love to be able to be in the US. We are moving into the US this year, but so often I go to retailers and I say, hey guys, we're Bearkind, we're the #1 sock brand in Europe, and check out our product. These are all of the reviews, independently verified on Faire, and our product is actually worth stocking in your business. So for wholesalers, for example, that need a bit more of a tried, true tested product, I should say, then we are the right place because we have that ability to share what we've got from Faire with those reviews, and that's what we do on an ongoing basis. So this is where we're going to get candid, guys. It is not for everyone and it is not permanent. So what do we mean by this? Well, there are 4 non-negotiable requirements for you to be able to get onto Faire Plus, but also to stay on Faire Plus. Number 1, you need to be active on your compliance. So certificate of insurance, verifiable documentation, that type of thing. Part 2, data quality. We need structured data that meets enterprise standards. So it is not enough to sometimes miss a GTIN, to sometimes miss an inch on your individual product measurements, or doing grams sometimes, kilograms the other times, and making mistakes there, where Faire previously, for example, with shipping, would be okay with that, but no longer. Part 3 is you need to show a history of reliable fulfillment, showing that you can also handle orders. So if you're invited to Faire Plus, that's because you have been able to show and demonstrate that you've handled large orders in the past. And lastly, professional retailer communication. So you can get dinged by a buyer if they don't think that you're worthwhile working with. So Faire will probably be talking to buyers, we don't yet know that, and getting report cards on businesses, on brands that they're selling to. The easiest way to look at this is essentially it's your customer service metrics that you've got on Faire already. So compliance requirement number 1, certificate of insurance. You can't get onto Faire Plus without uploading the certificate of insurance. And it has a couple of requirements. You have to be over $2 million US as the coverage minimum. Part 2 is that you need to specify specifically that it says Faire Wholesale Inc. as one of your retailers. That's just making sure you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's. And then once you've got that, you can upload it to Faire. It's a super easy process. So make sure you just get that picture. It can be PDF, it can be JPEG, upload it, and you should be relatively straightforward. If you don't know what to do, there's heaps of websites to work out how can I get a certificate of insurance, and they're very cheap to do for product businesses in particular. Requirement number 2, complete your structured product data, please. I know how hard it is. You've got so much to do. You've got a massive catalog, 400 plus products, 100 plus products, whatever that number is for you. The last thing that you need to do is go through all you want to do, but what you need to do is go through and make sure you've got a GTIN or a UPC. The product weights are updated. The product dimensions are in there. The made in country is all complete. Large retailers are going to have to rely on the structured product data because they're working with millions and millions of products, and you're just going to be 1 or 2 of those products that they're working with. So make sure you complete that. It's relatively straightforward. You can do it in the bulk upload tool on Faire, and I'll show you what that looks like as we go through the process on Faire Plus at the end of this video. Requirements number 3 and 4, operational scale and being retailer friendly. I say this all the time, I'm saying it again, here we are. So you must demonstrate that you have the ability to support larger retailers, which means larger order volumes and repeat purchases. You've got to make sure you've got consistent order fulfillment, reliable shipping performance that proves that you can meet the scale that these businesses need. You have to remember that buyers are really planning replenishments in advance, and it is absolutely crucial that they have confidence in you because of how well you have operated and run in the past. And finally, being retailer friendly also means you need to be a professional communicator. Being friendly is different to being professional. You can be both, and make sure you've got both. You want to be long-term growth-minded approach to a business. You need to focus on it being a partnership, and enterprise relationships are going to extend far beyond a single order. So make sure that, for example, that buyer, they might leave that large retailer, move to another of their competitors and bring you along with them. So you've got an opportunity to make a great impression and keep that great impression on an ongoing basis. So you're probably asking yourself, well, operationally, what even changes? The operational changes are thankfully very minor. So when a large retail order comes through, it will come through as a marked with large retail partner on that order. You just need to see that in your brand portal. So everything will be relatively straightforward. The one main difference, and this will be pulled out when you go to fulfill the order, is that sometimes some large retailers may require you to ship using their own carrier account. And that money will then be deducted by Faire automatically. So it kind of removes any complexity there, but you will be notified if you have to ship with that large retailer's courier. It'd be interesting to see how that kind of splits out by large retailer, depending on, we work with some businesses that have got multiple trucks going from FedEx to their warehouse every single day, 7 days a week. And so for them, I'm imagining that it's probably going to be okay that they do their own process. However, large retailers might have a very standardized procedure. If you've worked with Amazon fulfillment, then you probably know what this is going to be like. My suggestion is continue to just use Faire shipping, especially for this particular option when they're saying, hey, this is what this large retailer requires. Okay, so some final FAQs before we get into the actual process. Number one, is there a cost to Faire Plus? And the answer is no. Your commission rates, payment terms, and pricing controls remain the same. Can I still sell to small independent retailers? And the answer is absolutely yes, of course. That's the whole reason why Faire got into this, and it's going to continue to be the reason why Faire exists. Can I choose which retailers to sell to or not? And the answer here is, as always, yes. But what we recommend is pretty much accept near 99.99% of orders unless they absolutely vehemently go against what your product stands for. The reason why is because if you are Faire and you see that a business or a brand is regularly declining from that retailer, Faire is going to stop sending retailer views to that brand. That's the same on Faire Normal and on Faire Plus. So make sure that you're doing it only at the very kind of like margins, right? So on Bear Kind, our sock brand, for example, we won't sell to some type of poachers. They're around animals all the time, but we don't agree with them. And that's just what we do. So there are other businesses where this works as well. Maybe you're potentially having a competitor that might be buying your product. You're not going to accept that order. So there are small amounts of times when you wouldn't do this, but that's kind of just like hopefully at this point you've watched enough videos that you would think, actually, Andy, yeah, would be saying accept pretty much all these orders. So are you ready to join? Well, if you are scale ready, you've got your insurance, you've got complete data, you are confident and comfortable that your stock is going to arrive in a great position and that your stock will then sell, sign up. Sign up as soon as possible. The people with all Faire new things that they roll out, there is so much opportunity for the brands that do it at the start. Like Faire Ads, for example, that made so many businesses on Faire even more successful than they were. So sign up as soon as possible. Don't wait. Don't be the person sitting there, oh, I'll wait to see how this kind of shakes out. However, if you don't have great inventory, you're still mastering the basics, you're not got insurance, don't worry just yet. Make sure you get a bunch of reviews, get better, and then approve. There are no additional costs to join, like I mentioned. You can keep selling through your small retailers, and Faire Plus is going to help you get discovered with those larger retailers. So that's kind of how we think about it. So that's kind of the background on Faire Plus. What I want to do now is go into the rest of the video and show you exactly what it looks like in platform. So what does it look like when you are on your Faire site? How do you get into Faire Plus? How do you sign up for it? So what you're going to do is go into settings, shop settings, and then scroll down to where it should say Faire Plus. You're going to click Get Started. You need to sign the Faire Plus agreement. I've read the terms and conditions. Scroll down, relatively straightforward. You're going to click Sign that agreement. What you're then going to do is upload the certificate of insurance. Now you need to make sure that this information is included on your COI, and you need a $2 million liability insurance with the additional insured named party. So this is what I was talking about earlier in the video of Faire Wholesale Inc. its parent subsidiaries and affiliated entities. Make sure that is included, and it lists Faire Wholesale. Again, guys, you will get declined if you don't do this. So put your COI in there, upload it, and then it's going to start processing. It'll be a couple days before it is complete, and I'll show you what that looks like whilst you're waiting for the processing on one of our other businesses. So this is what it looks like if on Faire Plus you are currently pending approval. So you've put your application in and it will say you're currently reviewing your CRI. You will receive an email within 2 business days from Faire Plus once your enrollment is approved. So this business has applied yesterday, and they're going to be approved hopefully the next day or so. That's what it looks like whilst you're pending approval. I'm now going to show you what it looks like when a business is actually approved. And this is what it looks like when a brand is signed up for Faire Plus. So as you can see, they are enrolled here. This particular brand enrolled last week on the 20th of March, and they've been approved. So you can see you've got the tick, and as well, if you click into learn more, you should be seeing the ticks here if you're logged in as well. So you can read through that at your leisure. And that's what it looks like. And then it's just a matter of waiting for the orders to roll in. And I can show you what it looks like once those orders start rolling in for a large retailer, and what it looks like on your order tab. So you might be thinking, what does it look like in your orders? Well, they helpfully identify it by showing you that this is an order from a large retailer with this kind of little icon here. As you can see from this particular business, it's a relatively small order, but it is from a larger retailer. You have to take my trust me on this one. I can't show you the name, obviously, for privacy and all that sort of good stuff, but relatively small order, and that's what we've been seeing across most of the orders, actually, interestingly. But they are denoting them as a large retailer, so it'll be interesting to see what happens once the Faire buyers start getting involved and discussing with these larger retailers. So at the moment, you might have this as an order from a large retailer, and that's what it looks like. I hope you've liked this video, guys. Please like, subscribe, follow for more. Please leave us a comment. It makes a massive difference. Huge difference, please, guys. You don't know how much it helps to get a bit of interaction, talk to guys and girls, and find out what it is that we could improve on our videos and what you would like to hear from us. Of course, if you have any questions as well, you know where to find us, the YouTube comments. So thanks, guys. I will see you in the next video, and let us know if there's anything else you'd like us to cover.